Have you ever really stopped to think about how our world actually works? I mean, the fact that you can have a phone designed in California, a coffee from halfway across the world, and clothes from another continent, all at the same time? It feels like magic, right? Well, it's not, but it's something just as powerful. It's the economic dance of specialization and trade. Today, we're going to dive into that very secret, how we, as individuals, overcome our limits to create incredible wealth together.
You know, this quote just nails it. A single person, totally isolated, we can't do that much. We're not the strongest animals, definitely not the fastest. But we have a superpower. The one thing that lets us build skyscrapers and explore space is our ability to work together, to get really good at one thing and then trade for everything else we need.
All right, so here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the basic human dilemma. Then we'll get into the rules of the game of exchange and the resources we're all playing with. After that, we'll see the magic of indirect trade with a personal story, and finally, we'll pull back the curtain on the real secret, comparative advantage.
Okay, let's jump right in. What's the fundamental problem we're all trying to solve?
I mean, just imagine for a second if you had to do everything yourself. Build your own shelter, hunt or grow all your own food, make your own clothes. Your entire life would just be about survival, and it'd be exhausting. But what happens when one person gets really good at farming, another gets good at building, and a third gets good at making clothes, and they all trade? Well, suddenly everyone is way, way better off. That system of mutual support is the absolute bedrock of a thriving society.
So it's not quite as simple as just trading. It turns out the way we exchange things changes everything, not just for the people in the deal, but for everybody.
I love this metaphor because it's so powerful. Think about voluntary exchange. It's like a seduction. Both sides have to be into it, they both have to agree, and crucially, they both walk away feeling like they got something good out of the deal. They both win. Now, involuntary exchange, that's a violation. One person forces the deal. There's no mutual gain. One person just takes. And modern economics? Well, it's mostly the study of that first kind, that incredible positive dance of voluntary trade.
And this leads us to think about these exchanges like games. A zero-sum game is like a poker game, right? For me to win $1, you have to lose $1. The total amount of money on the table doesn't change. A negative-sum game is even worse. Think of a war. There's just destruction, and society as a whole loses. But voluntary trade? That's the good stuff. That's a positive-sum game. When you buy a cup of coffee, you want the coffee more than your money, and the cafe owner wants your money more than the coffee. You both win. The pie gets bigger. And when everyone wins, society as a whole wins. Okay, so if this is a game, what are the pieces on the board? What are the fundamental building blocks we're using to create all this value?
So the textbook answer is that there are three big ones. First, there's land. And this isn't just a plot of dirt. It means all natural resources, water, oil, trees, you name it. Then you've got work. Pretty straightforward, right? That's just human effort, both the muscle and the brain power. And finally, there's capital. Now, be careful here because it's not just money. It's physical capital, things like tools, computers, and factories, and it's also human capital, which is all the knowledge and skills we have in our heads.
But is that the whole story? Maybe not. Some people argue there's a fourth, absolutely crucial resource: entrepreneurial talent. I mean, you can have all the land, work, and capital in the world, but if you don't have someone with a vision, a recipe to combine them in a new way, then nothing happens. That's the entrepreneur.
And hey, why stop there? We can take it one step further. What about a fifth resource? Institutions. Think of it this way. The entrepreneur's recipe has to be cooked in a kitchen. That kitchen is the environment of laws, property rights, and social trust. If the kitchen's a mess or on fire, it doesn't matter how good your recipe is. So what do you think? Are strong institutions a fundamental resource? It's a great question.
Okay, let's make this real. Enough of the theory. Let me tell you a quick story that shows just how incredibly powerful this idea of specialization really is.
So let's say I just want three simple things in life: a great meal, a good craft beer, and a ticket to fly somewhere. Nothing too crazy, right? The big question is, how do I actually make that happen?
Well, I've got two options. Option one is the do-it-yourself disaster. I could try farming, brewing my own beer, and, I don't know, trying to build an airplane in my garage. The results? I'd have almost no food, my beer would be undrinkable, and the airplane? Yeah, let's not even think about that. But then there's option two, the smart way. I stick to the one thing I know how to do: teach economics. I earn money for it, and then I use that money to buy an amazing meal, fantastic beer, and a safe ticket on a plane built by actual experts.
And right there, that is the magic. In a very real economic sense, by doing my specialized job, I am indirectly brewing beer, cooking food, and building an airplane. I'm putting my little piece of value into this giant system, and in exchange, I get to draw on the specialized value of thousands, maybe millions, of other people. It's an amazing indirect collaboration that we're all a part of.
So, why does that system work so incredibly well? It all comes down to understanding the true cost of your choices. And this brings us to the secret ingredient, the core concept behind all smart exchange.
Okay, first, let's get an easy one out of the way. Absolute advantage. This is super simple. It just means you're flat out better at doing something than someone else. You're faster, more efficient, whatever. You're the best. But, and this is a huge but, it's not what really matters.
To see why, let's use a classic example. Imagine you have a superstar lawyer. She's brilliant, wins every case. But here's the twist. She also happens to be a world champion typist. She can type 200 words a minute, way faster than her assistant. So she has an absolute advantage in both practicing law and in typing.
So here's the million-dollar question. Who should type the legal documents? Your gut might say, the lawyer, of course. She's faster. But hold on. Think about what she's giving up to type. Every hour she spends at the keyboard is an hour she's not spending doing high-level legal work that she can bill at, say, $500 an hour. That is a massive opportunity cost. Now, what about the assistant? What are they giving up to type? Well, not a $500 an hour job. This is their specialty. Their opportunity cost is way, way lower. And that is what gives the assistant the comparative advantage.
And that, right there, is the whole secret. The engine of prosperity isn't about everyone doing what they're the absolute best at. It's about everyone. People, companies, entire countries specializing in whatever they have the lowest opportunity cost in. It makes perfect economic sense for the lawyer to pay the slower typist because it frees her up to create so much more value doing what only she can do.
So I'll leave you with this to chew on. As you go through your day, whatever you're doing, just ask yourself this one question. What is the true cost of what I'm doing right now? What's the next best thing I could be doing with my time? Because understanding that trade-off, well, that's the key to unlocking the power of specialization in your own life.